From the chamber to the people, let the voices ring. Laws are made, debates take the wing.
I know we are going to be reposed with responsibilities.
Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Watch the Senate and the House of Representatives, where decisions flow. The Parliament, the place to know. The Parliament, see power at play. The Parliament, your window into democracy at work, only on Global Television. Hello and welcome to your parliamentary program, The Parliament, which deliberates on legislative policies from the chambers of the National Assembly to the voices shaping Nigeria's democratic journey. Welcome once again. I am Anieti Patrick. Each week, we bring you the latest decisions, debates, and developments from the heart of the legislature, the bills shaping national policy, the motions addressing citizens' concerns, and oversight actions holding the government accountable. On this episode, the Southeast Development Commission says its initiatives are strengthening unity and development across the region as it defends its proposed 140 billion naira budget for the 2026 fiscal year before the Senate. Presenting the proposal to the Senate committee, the Managing Director, Mark Okoye, said increased stakeholder engagement has encouraged what he described as a shift towards development-focused cooperation in the Southeast. Okoye noted that recent consultations reflected broader participation across different groups, adding that the Commission remains committed to inclusive growth and economic revitalization in the region. He explained that the 140 billion naira proposal aligns with the 2026 budget circular from the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, stressing that the figure reflects the Commission's initial take-off allocation following limited releases in the previous fiscal year.
There were about 14 known IPOB members in the hall who, prior to that event, what they were saying was no retreat, no surrender. Biafra land, we only want this. The same people have done posts after attending that event for 4 days. And the response is, this is the first time I had the opportunity to contribute my own ideas to the development of Southeast Nigeria.
However, members of the Senate committee raised concerns over allocations to consultancy services, workshops, and security-related expenditures, urging the Commission to prioritize infrastructure and other visible development projects.
You just got your money, and I'm surprised. I'm looking at the breakdown. I may not go into details, but all went into some things, projects that you can't even feel. I'm not talking about renting your offices and furniture. That is basic, but not about conference engagement, stakeholder engagement, taking a whopping sum of 460 million. If we must succeed, you must handle this commission as your private company. Manage every fund, since you know it's a scarce resources, as your personal fund.
The committee chairman, Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, called for the commission and stakeholders, noting that residents expect tangible results from the intervention agency.
You people should work together. You people should be as wise as my grandmother. Don't fight. Don't keep peace at all times. Be open to your fellow executive directors. Nobody here is giving you people pressure. The only pressure we are giving you, go and work for our people.
I went through your presentation, what you did. I want to appeal to you and your team. Let us dwell a lot on infrastructure. it will not augur well for you to go and spend a lot of money on conferences, investment promotion, $20 million, $15 billion. All those things, some of them are not realistic.
The SEDC is seeking legislative backing to ensure timely budget releases in 2026, aimed at enabling full implementation of its programs and regional development agenda. The Senate has expressed concern over what it describes as inadequate funding of the nation's labor and employment sector. The alarm was raised during the budget defense session before the Senate Committee on Appropriations, where the proposed allocation of about 183.6 billion naira to the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment and its agencies came under scrutiny. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Labor, Employment and Productivity, Senator Dinket Plank, said despite the proposed figure, the ministry is grappling with serious funding gaps that are hampering its operations. He noted that critical responsibilities such as factory inspections, enforcement of labor standards, and infrastructure development are being affected, with some agencies lacking sufficient capital project and operational support to function effectively.
Most of the capital projects you see here, they are coming from constituency projects. The main ministry and the main agencies do not have sufficient capital projects.
Vice Chairman of the committee, Senator Tahir Mongono, stressed that adequate funding of the labor sector is essential to maintaining industrial harmony, boosting job creation, and driving sustainable economic growth. He warned that neglecting the sector could undermine workforce stability and national productivity.
The adequate funding of the employment, labor, and productivity sector is very important for the attainment of industrial harmony in the country.
Other lawmakers, including Senator Issa Jibrin, representing Kogi East, and Senator Simon Lalong, representing Plateau South, also called for improved financial support, emphasizing the ministry's central role in manpower planning, skills development, and national productivity.
If we are able to provide the necessary infrastructure there, this needs to be able to generate a lot of revenue from federal ministries and various MDAs. We can even make it compulsory.
If we want the nation to move, Federal Ministry of Labor, Employment and Productivity must get a lot of budget for training, for employment, for all the stuff that will keep the nation moving.
Lawmakers say strengthening the labor and empowerment sector through adequate funding will not only enhance regulatory oversight, but also promote decent work standards and support Nigeria's broader economic reform agenda. Also, the Nigerian senators called for sustained training, capacity building, and enhanced safety programs for the personnel of the Federal Road Safety Corps. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs, Orwell Onyeso, made the call during the agency's 2025 budget performance review and consideration of its 2026 budget proposal. Presenting the agency's report, FRSC Court Marshal Shehu Mohammed disclosed that the commission generated over 4 billion naira in revenue in 2025 from fines, number plate registrations, and driver's license deductions. He also announced a proposed 2026 budget of 129 billion naira for the commission. He stressed that continuous professional development is essential to maintaining efficiency, discipline, and effective service delivery in road safety operations nationwide.
We have the internally generated revenue projection for 2026 to 2028, where we are expecting to generate 6.12 billion for 2020, where 6.12 billion was generated for 2025, and then we're expecting to generate almost the same amount for 2026.
The Senate committee commended the Commission for renewed professionalism and prompt response to road safety matters despite funding challenges, but reiterated the need for continuous training of officers in active service.
I want to, after the purely arithmetical presentation here. Like my colleagues here have said, your core mandate is very, very vital. If I get to some places, I find vehicles broken down, particularly on the road, for this, and I feel a little worried.
Now, I appeal that you continue to train them. There's the need for continuous training, not continually, continuous, because they come out every day.
In a later development, the acting national coordinator of Savicom, Helen Lowell, lamented that the agency lacks sufficient statutory powers to enforce efficiency and accountability across government institutions. While presenting the agency's 2026 proposal of 965 million naira, she appealed to the National Assembly to pass legislation strengthening Savicom's mandate to demand compliance from ministries, departments, and agencies.
A lot of things we can't do now to the optimum because our bill has not been passed. We can only back, we can't buy, sir. So we'll appeal to this committee if they can assist us to ensure that that bill is passed.
The Senate also called for improved funding for the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, alongside Savicom's operations. The committee encouraged both agencies to sustain reforms and assured them of improved budgetary consideration to enhance institutional performance. It's good to have you back on the Parliament. Concern is mounting in Nigeria's political space ahead of the 2027 elections following allegations of an assassination attempt on former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi. A member of the House of Representatives on the platform of the African Democratic Congress, Peter Uzokwe, has called for an immediate investigation against the militarization of politics. As political activities gradually intensify ahead of 2027, fresh tensions have emerged over alleged threats to opposition figures. A lawmaker of the African Democratic Congress, Peter Uzokwe, has called on the Acting Inspector General of Police and other security agencies to investigate what he described as an assassination attempt on former presidential candidate Peter Obi. The lawmaker insists Nigeria must not return to an era of political violence.
When Peter Obi went to Edo State last year, you had the governor. Did you hear the governor? That he cannot guarantee the security of Peter Obi. Did you hear it? Yes. He made that statement in a national television that if Peter Obi comes to Edo State without telling him, whatever he sees, he takes.
He also called on the governor of Edo State, Monday Okpebolo, as Chief Security Officer of the state to ensure the safety of all political actors, regardless of party affiliation. The lawmaker also demanded for a transparent and independent investigation into the issue with a view to identify and prosecute anyone found culpable. While emphasizing that security is the primary responsibility of government at all levels, the lawmaker urged Nigerians to remain calm but vigilant, stressing that democracy must be protected. The House of Representatives has intensified efforts to reposition Nigeria's renewable energy sector, charging ministries, departments, and agencies to source at least 50% of their electricity needs from renewable energy. The House Committee on Renewable Energy convened an investigative hearing to examine the domiciliation of green energy projects, foreign grants, and investments received since 2015, and the level of renewable energy utilization across federal MDAs. Declaring the session open, Speaker of the House, Tajudeen Abbas, described the exercise as a crucial parliamentary mandate backed by the authority of the National Assembly. Represented by Ibrahim Halims, the Speaker urged stakeholders to see the hearing as a patriotic duty aimed at strengthening institutional integrity and enhancing national development.
The committee was mandated to investigate foreign grants and investment received in the renewable energy sector from 2015 to date, and the utilization of renewable energy in MDAs.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, represented by the Director General of the Voice of Nigeria, Jibrin Ndes, pledged the support of government's media platforms in driving public enlightenment on renewable energy adoption. He also clarified that no solar street lights contracts have been awarded by the Voice of Nigeria.
We have a farm, a solar farm, in our desire to transit, because currently, based on the support that we're getting from the President and Commander-in-Chief, Dr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we are reactivating moribund transmitter.
Chairman of the committee, Afam Ogene, said the hearing consolidates 3 separate House mandates, including the probe of foreign grants, green projects, domiciliation, and renewable energy utilization in MDAs. He lamented economic losses linked to poor implementation, citing widespread cases of dysfunctional solar street lights and weak oversight.
But you also let the Honorable Minister know that this committee would like to know what he has done in his own ministry in that regard. And speaking for yourself as head of a parastatal.
Tensions rose, however, over the absence of the Chief Executive Officer of the Rural Electrification Agency, Abba Aliyu. Lawmakers resolved that if he fails to appear before the committee on Wednesday, 25th February 2026, the Inspector General of Police should compel his appearance. Tensions flared at the Senate as lawmakers expressed outrage over the failure of the Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission to honor repeated invitations from the National Assembly. This was during the Senate's Committee on Finance 2026 Budget Defense Session and interactive meeting on the economy. Senator Orji Uzor Kalu moved a motion calling for the immediate sack of the Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Hussaini Magaji, over what he described as persistent disregard and disrespect for the Senate. The motion was seconded by Senator Adams Oshomole, who supported calls for decisive action. Senator Kalu urged that the matter be escalated to President Bola Tinubu, seeking the urgent termination of the CAC boss appointment. He also called for the issuance of a warrant to compel the Registrar General to appear before the committee.
In the Senate, and we cannot take it any longer. I want you to summon a warrant to bring him here. I will report him to Mr. President to either remove him, replace him, or he start obeying the Senate.
Move the motion, let me second.
This man is not coming to the Senate. He's not above the law. This Minister of Finance and Minister of Budget, they are here 24 hours. We summon them, they come. And this CAC man thinks he's a king over the Senate. We are not ready to take that rubbish again. Minister of Finance, please take note. I move a motion that man should be reported to Mr. President and ask for immediate removal, because we cannot continue in this manner. We have time to do this work. We call the Finance Minister, who is the coordinating Minister of Economy, and he will leave everything he's doing to come. This year, since I came to this Senate, this man have never been here. He will continue. I'm a member of this committee, even in the 9th Senate until today. And this man will continue saying he's in the villa, he's going to London, he went to... Is that what we are doing? He should come and give us account.
In a separate motion, Senator Oshomole proposed that the CAC's budgetary allocation be withheld pending the Registrar General's appearance and clarification before the committee.
And given the fact that he has not accounted for revenue accrued to him and the expenditure he has secured, this Senate should decline to appropriate anything in 2026 budget until we are satisfied that he has properly accounted for previous money and spent, and the Senate is satisfied that he deserves to have any further appropriation. And should he spend money that is not appropriated, he should be headed to Kuje prison. I so move.
The chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Musa, strongly criticized the Registrar General for repeatedly failing to honor invitations. He swiftly put it to a vote, but it failed to secure the required support of the committee.
Assembly has constitutional role, and this constitutional role is that we are to oversight MDAs. Any MDA that we invite, almost every time, they will tell us they are in the villa. They are in the villa, taking excuses with the villa. And even Mr. President does not guarantee any head of MDA not responding to National Assembly.
The committee subsequently continued with its proceedings, leaving the issue unresolved and the fate of the CAC Registrar General uncertain. The joint investigative hearing of the Senate and House committees on petroleum resources has been temporarily suspended following concerns by the Minister of Petroleum Resources over insufficient documentation and late notification to the ministry. Lawmakers say the adjournment is necessary to ensure a comprehensive engagement with all relevant agencies when the session resumes. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Henneken Lukpabiri, informed the joint panel that his office received the invitation letter only a day earlier, making it difficult for the ministry and its agencies to assemble all the requested documents.
Well, because we got the letter yesterday evening, and I only got to see it only this morning. You know, we are not quite ready, you know, we are not quite ready with the documents that you have asked us, you know, to submit.
Following the minister's explanation, Senator Abdul Ningi, Bauchi Central, suggested that the hearing be adjourned to allow the ministry adequate time to furnish lawmakers with the necessary documents for a productive session.
But what question can we raise when we have no document before us to peruse? Probably when this document comes before us, some of the questions may be unnecessary. So I would like to suggest to my colleagues that subject to the leadership approval, of course, that it is better to adjourn this meeting, because this meeting with these major stakeholders is very critical to Nigeria and Nigerians. And my thinking that as we sit here, where representatives of Nigeria, as they speak and we speak, we're speaking to Nigerians. And therefore, if we're going to achieve any meaningful interaction with them, since they came unprepared, I do not think we need any other argument as to say they will have to do or listen to us because they are just perusing a document that was supposed to have been sent since last week. So I suggest, Mr. Chairman, we give them some dates, subject to how you see it, and then we adjourn this thing, and then tell them to come back in very few days. That's my suggestion. Thank you.
Chairman of the Senate Committee on Gas, Agum Jarigbe, who co-chaired the joint session, also noted the absence of the special advisor to the President on Energy, Olu Benje, describing her presence as pivotal to the discussions.
Finance here, because it borders on fiscal accountability, the PIA vis-a-vis the executive orders 9 just signed by the President recently. The SA Energy to the President is not here too. She's very, very pivotal to the goings on here. And I will personally align with what you've asked for.
Similarly, Chairman of the Senate's Committee on Downstream Petroleum, Sumaila Kawo, commended the ministry for honoring the invitation despite the short notice, but supported calls for an adjournment.
First of all, let me appreciate your prompt response to our request. We must appreciate you, although it is not we, the members of the National Assembly, it is the respect of the Constitution and the country. We are doing this because of the country. Therefore, I think based on the practical situation and the importance of the question and the document we are asking, I am proposing to postpone this meeting to the next week, at least reschedule it to peeps of March 2026. Then you will get prepared, and the remaining head of the agencies, Minister of Finance, Attorney General, and of course Accountant General of the Federation must be here to put our head together and arrive in the destination, a common destination. I so move.
The Joint Committee subsequently agreed to reschedule the investigative hearing to March 5th to enable the ministry and relevant agencies submit the required documentation and ensure a comprehensive engagement. And that's the much we can take on this edition of the program. See you next week on the Parliament, on Global Television, on Channel 365 on DSTV, and Star Times Channel 276. To stay connected, kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen. Use it at Global TV NG. Thank you to my production team. I am Anieti Patrick. Bye for now.